What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. April's around the corner, which means it's time to discuss my most anticipated movies of the month. Before we begin, let me know in the comments which movies in April you're most looking forward to seeing. As always, this is just a reminder that these will be in order of release date and not ranked by how much I'm anticipating each movie. Also, make sure to hit that thumbs up button if you like these videos, as it helps me out immensely by getting my content out there. And if you're new here, I hope you consider hitting that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with more movie-related content on a near daily basis. As per usual, we got 10 movies to discuss. This is not a comprehensive list of this month's releases, but they are, in release order, Apollo 10½, the latest film from Richard Linklater, which sees him utilizing rotoscoping animation in the vein of his previous films Waking Life and A Scanner Darkly. This coming-of-age story is centered around the Apollo 11 landing and explores children on Earth's fantasies about the event. I generally look forward to new Linklater films, as he's always great at capturing rich character drama, usually with some quirky sensibility to it. Though this goes more for a nostalgic feel, with narration by Jack Black especially looking to set the mood for that time period, and I'm always a sucker for these sort of films. It recently premiered at South by Southwest, where it received positive reviews, and I have a feeling we'll be hearing plenty about this one come next year's award season, and it hits Netflix on the 1st. The Bubble, the latest film from Judd Apatow, which focuses on a group of actors stuck inside a pandemic bubble who are trying to complete a film. This looks like it's going to be the silliest Apatow movie we've gotten thus far. While he's known for his raunchy humor, he typically also mixes that with a heartfelt storyline. This, however, looks like it sees him going all out on the goofiness, with a lot of meta humor and references to the real-life pandemic. Now, while I haven't exactly been the biggest fan of this subgenre, where the whole shtick is just that they filmed at the height of the pandemic and not much else, if there's anyone who can put a unique twist on this, it's Apatow. So I think this can be fun. This also hits Netflix on the 1st. You Won't Be Alone, which takes place in an isolated mountain village in 19th century Macedonia, where a young girl is kidnapped and then transformed into a witch by an ancient spirit. You might have just heard about this one, as it premiered at Sundance earlier in the year, where it received positive reviews, though I can see this one being a bit more divisive once it's actually released, as it looks like it's going to be a slow-burning atmospheric horror. And while those tend to be more hit and miss with me, my main reason for really wanting to check this one out is due to Noomi Rapace, who's been on something of a roll lately, especially with two films I really enjoyed last year, that being The Trip and Lamb. While I wasn't the biggest fan of her latest film Black Crab on Netflix, hopefully this just shows that that was a blip, and this will be another solid entry in her horror outings. And this hits theaters on the 1st. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which sees Dr. Robotnik return to Earth with a new ally, Knuckles the Echidna, with Sonic and his new friend Tails being all that stands in their way. After a lot of controversy in the lead up to it, the first Sonic proved to be a big hit with both critics and audiences, and while not perfect, it's easily one of the better video game adaptations out there, and this appears to be more of the same. I don't really see this reinventing the wheel, but I think it'll be fun seeing this universe expand, especially with the return of the entire cast, along with new faces, Idris Elba as Knuckles, along with Colleen O'Shaughnessy reprising her role as Tails from the video games. I'm expecting this to be nothing but a fun time, and it hits theaters on the 8th. Duel, which stars Karen Gillan as a woman who opts for a cloning procedure after she receives a terminal diagnosis. But after she recovers and her attempts to have her clone decommissioned fail, it leads to a court-mandated duel to the death. This is brought to us by Riley Stearns, who gave us one of my favorite movies of 2019, that being the underrated The Art of Self-Defense, which mixed a dark premise with some quirky comedy. From what I've heard out of Sundance, this appears to be more of that same style, and considering I've been eagerly awaiting Stearns' follow-up, I'm all on board with this, with it being scheduled for theaters on the 15th. The Bad Guys, which focuses on several reformed yet misunderstood criminal animals who attempt to become good, with some disastrous results along the way. The latest from DreamWorks seems like it'll be something a little different from them. Maybe not so much in terms of the sense of humor, as DreamWorks typically goes for fast-paced, witty exchanges, but the animation style certainly isn't what we normally get from them, almost giving me vibes of something along the lines of Into the Spider-Verse or The Mitchells vs. the Machines. And if so, I expect a lot of fresh, unique visual gags to accompany the usual DreamWorks banter. It's got a talented voice cast, an action-packed premise, and it appears to be the most promising of DreamWorks' most recent efforts, and it hits theaters the 22nd. The Northmen, an action-filled epic that finds a young Viking prince on his quest to avenge his father's murder. Robert Eggers makes his return in his first venture out of horror territory after The Witch and The Lighthouse. And while those two films were definitely more niche efforts, this looks like it'll be his most accessible film to date. And I'm looking forward to seeing how his unique style translates to something with a much broader appeal. As the synopsis suggests, this looks to be an action-packed thrill ride, and while I'm not normally the biggest fan of period pieces, I love a good revenge thriller, so I look forward to seeing Eggers' distinct style combined with some good old-fashioned bloody thrills. So I'm hyped for this one, and it hits theaters on the 22nd. Petite Maman, which focuses on a young girl who just lost her grandmother and finds a girl her age building a treehouse when cleaning out her grandmother's home. Celine Sciamma's follow-up to the excellent Portrait of a Lady on Fire seems to be another knockout of the park for her, as this has received widespread critical acclaim throughout its festival run last year. This seems to operate on a much smaller scale than Lady on Fire, with a fairly small cast and a 72-minute runtime, though this will at least allow Sciamma to do what she does best and give plenty of focus to those we do follow and give us more of that rich character drama that she's great at. Because it did already get a release in most countries out of the US last year, this is really a 2021 movie for a lot of people, but as for the US, unless you saw it in a film festival last year, we're just getting this now, and it hits theaters in a limited release on the 22nd. The unbearable weight of massive talent finds a cash-strapped Nicolas Cage agreeing to make a paid appearance at the birthday party of a billionaire superfan played by Pedro Pascal. However, he's really a CIA informant since that fan is also a drug kingpin. Easily my most anticipated of all the movies on this month's list, this one is going to be absolutely wild, as it sees Nicolas Cage play an even more out there version of himself in what's sure to be a great send-up of his movie persona, especially as we see Cage revisit some of his most iconic movie roles here. While this could have potentially just been a gimmicky premise and nothing more, it's received a lot of positive reviews out of South by Southwest, which makes me very happy, as this hopefully means we're in for a real treat. And it hits theaters on the 22nd. And finally, Memory stars Liam Neeson as an assassin for hire who finds that he's become a target after he refuses to complete a job for a dangerous organization. With Liam Neeson now being known for cranking out so many run-of-the-mill action thrillers with ridiculous premises, maybe I'm being a little too optimistic for this one. But the main thing that has me holding out some hope for this is that it's directed by Martin Campbell. And while he's had his fair share of misfires, he also gave us two of the best James Bond films, along with a few other fun action movies, especially most recently with The Protégé. And while I've heard the original source material this was based on, The Alzheimer Case, is supposedly just a stylish version of a standard story, meaning maybe I shouldn't hold out too much hope for this remake. Honestly, if there's anyone who can also do a good job of bringing style to something a little by the numbers, it's Campbell. So if he can bring that same sense of fun he brought to some of his stronger works, then this should hopefully be a good enough time. And it hits theaters on the 29th. But that's all for my most anticipated movies this month, so let me know, which movies in April are you most looking forward to seeing? Was it anything I listed here? Was it something I left off? Let me know in the comments below so we can discuss. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it, and for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching everyone, and keep having fun with film.